So here we have the ASAP Rocky Puma Inhale Distressed Canvas After Hours Pale Yellow. And this is a sneaker that was originally released in the year 2000. And it's one of those sort of, I suppose, on the crux of being a Y2K sneaker. And they were made as a running shoe. And these were inspired by car mechanics. So it's one of those sneakers that where ASAP Rocky has looked at, influence from sort of motorsports and, like cars in general. And so you can sort of see within the insole it's got those kind of motorsport type sort of print on there, so it's kind of paying homage to that. And obviously it's being an ASAP Rocky collab, and it comes in this nice box, so you can sort of see that here. It's a pull-out box, and you can see the year 2000 of when the sneaker originally released. And but it's a cool collab box, considering that sometimes people with collaborators, they don't tend to do too much with it. So with the details, it comes in a warm white, Puma black, Pele yellow colour. And these have a hand distressed and frayed canvas material on this, so you can sort of see that here. And it's one of those ones where, to be honest, when I saw the sneaker online, I don't mind having a little bit of distressing, but I think I was a bit catfished into this particular pair because I thought it was going to be a lot more white on the upper. But obviously that maybe the photos didn't quite give them the props, but in hand they feel a lot more darker, so that's kind of my only sort of issue with these. And this has a Puma midsole, cell midsole, so it's made up of like hexagonal shapes, and they feel quite sort of comfortable on foot, and especially if you're made out of polyurethane. And it has a rubber outsole, so you can sort of see that here. I think the traction is very, pretty good on these, considering it's seems to do the job. And it has a textile and leather materials and synthetic materials, so there's nothing sort of special going on here with the materials. At first I thought this upper was leather, but it's more of just a standard kind of, I suppose, textile material. And the price for these is £115. So with the comfort and sizing, I think, I changed my mind on these. I think they're on the medium side now that I've had a feel this particular pair, and they feel quite nice on foot. And quite sort of forgiving as well with the midsole, and usually with these low profile sneakers you don't tend to get that. And this also has a neutral art and flat foot, so which is surprising for a runner. It's one of those ones where it's quite sort of basic on foot. And these are sort of true to size, so it's one of those sort of sneakers that I think, if you go true to size you'll be fine. And again, there's no wear in time because of this sort of canvasy type upper. There's no issues there. And this has sort of average grip, in my opinion. I don't think it's that great. It's one of those ones which I think will do the job, but I'm not sure how long or durable like this outsole would be, especially the front part, because you can sort of see it's protruding, quite similar to, I suppose, some Air Max trainers, but at the same time I just don't know how that would hold up over time. So with the look and style, like I said earlier, it's got that worn and distressed look, and it's probably a bit too much for me personally. I was hoping it would be more white from, judging from the photos online, and I didn't keep the other pair that I reviewed, but with this one, I think, I'm not, a fan of how it kind of looks at the moment, and, there's just too much sort of dark colours on there, which is not really my thing. And this one is one of those ones where, you can sort of rock them anytime really, because of the material. It's not like waterproof, but it's not like mesh either, so it's kind of that in-between sort of canvas material, but because it's got that distressed look, you're not going to get afraid to get them dirty because they look dirty already. And it's a good sort of casual wear really. Like I said, because it's influenced by motorsports, you can see the designs all over that, and I think, in that respect, done a cool job. And this has trail sort of toggle laces on this, bungee type laces, which is different to the original one that released, which I don't mind personally. I actually think these are better, and just makes it easier to sort of slip on and off as well. So with the final thoughts, I do like the overall packaging and the presentation. I think it's really cool, and I think, the distressed look is obviously, not everyone's going to be a fan of, but I do sort of give them props for that, to kind of release something which hasn't been done, really. And I suppose more or less it's been Off-White, who have kind of done these types of trainers, I guess. And they're lightweight as well. Being a sort of Y2K type trainer, I feel they're quite sort of lightweight on foot and quite nice actually. And the cost, I actually think the cost is done well. So at £115, you can't go wrong, and it's good to sort of have a bit of a gamble, especially being a collab. With the cons, I think also, you know, the distressed look, so that can be a pro and a con depending on what you think of it. With this particular one, I'm not a fan of the distressed look because it's just a bit too much, you know, there's a bit too much sort of dirt kind of looking on it, and I'm not a fan of that personally. So with the ratings, I'm going to give the look and style a 4 out of 5. I think overall it's really nice, and I think for a younger audience, I think this one is, you know, is a good buy because it's got that sort of sleek, sort of racing vibes, and I think, you know, maybe the younger crowd would probably like the distressed look. Comfort, I'm going to give it a 4. I do think it's very comfortable on foot, and it's one of those sneakers that I feel like, you know, Puma have done a good job on, especially for the price range. And the quality, I'm going to give that a 4 as well. I think, again, you know, the overall presentation, the price, and the way the train is made, it's not like perfect, it's not using premium materials, but it's still good. And the pricing, I'm going to give that 5. I think they've done a good job on the price, so I think for me, it's like £115 is definitely sort of worth it. And that's why overall I give the score a 4 out of 5. I think it's a nice sneaker, but it quite misses the mark in my opinion of like being a top tier sneaker. But it's still a very nice pair if you like into these types of trainers. But for me, I'm not into the distressed look, so it's not something that I would look to keep.